This story is disgusting. 3 innocent Americans are dead because of Joe Biden's and Gavin Newsom's laws. And how? Because Joe Biden let them in, and Gavin Newsom handed driver's licenses and commercial operating licenses to these people. In Florida last week, a minivan was obliterated by a semi. Lives were gone in seconds. And guess who was behind the wheel? Not a citizen, not even here legally. Stick around because what comes next is going to make your blood boil. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when we upload videos. And let's get into this.
Another alleged deadly crime now highlighting President Trump's immigration crackdown. Watch this horrifying video. It's from Florida last week, and it shows a minivan slamming into a semi-truck. Look at that. It's gone. Driving that truck, an illegal immigrant accused of trying a reckless U-turn across 3 lanes on a highway. Who does that? That crash killed 3 people inside that minivan. A senior ICE source says U.S. Marshals arrested that illegal immigrant in California over the weekend. He will be extradited to Florida to face 3 counts of vehicular homicide. Here's Florida's Attorney General.
It's a horrific situation. California should not have provided this person the driver's license and a permit, not just for a car, but to drive large-scale trucks. To then drive into Florida, engage in this dangerous behavior and take the lives of 3 others is really a tragedy, but it shows how dangerous the open border policies under Obama and Biden have been that have continued to wreak havoc on communities across the country.
It's totally dangerous. And just when you think it can't even get worse, wait until you hear this part. Not only was this guy here illegally, he had already been arrested at the border and they still let him go. And then California handed him a commercial driver's license to drive these massive rigs. You can't even make this insanity up.
Our senior correspondent, Jonathan Siri, has more on this story. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Aisha. Authorities have identified the truck driver as 28-year-old Harjinder Singh. And they say he was an Indian national. He faces 3 counts of vehicular homicide stemming from that fatal crash on Florida's Turnpike. It happened on Tuesday. Florida authorities say the 28-year-old trucker was making an illegal U-turn, crossing the median using an area that was designated for official use only. You can see a minivan behind him slamming into the trailer, crushed underneath, fatally injuring 3 Florida residents who were riding inside. 2 died at the scene, a 3rd died at the hospital. State troopers issued an ICE detainer for the truck driver after learning he was an illegal migrant. Federal authorities say Singh, an Indian national, entered the U.S. illegally through the Mexico border in September of 2018. He was arrested 2 days later, but claimed he was afraid to go back to his home country. And so he was released on a $5,000 immigration bond. The White House's rapid response social media account reposted a video of the accident with a statement criticizing the state of California for granting Singh a commercial driver's license. The California governor's press office quickly responded that Singh entered the U.S. during President Trump's first term and before Gavin Newsom took office. But the Department of Homeland Security is pushing back, saying in a statement to Fox News, 3 innocent people were killed in Florida because Gavin Newsom's California DMV issued an illegal alien a commercial driver's license. This state of governance is asinine. Singh is currently being held in San Joaquin County, California. He's expected to be extradited to the state of Florida sometime later this week. And Florida officials say that he will have to serve any time for a vehicular homicide conviction in that state before he is deported from the country.
It's so tragic I can't even put into words. Now here's Tom Homan on the reality of where we stand right now today. Take a look.
And are you still, Mr. Homan, are you still targeting this 3,000 arrests a day a target, or how should we think about your capacity to arrest with these
Look, I think the Department of 3,000 arrests, people say what a ridiculous number. Do the math. We'd have to arrest 7,000 people every day for the remainder of this administration just to remove the people Joe Biden released. 3,000, in my opinion, is not a target. It's not my target. But, everybody says 3,000 is ridiculous, goal. I'll say look at the numbers. We have to arrest more than twice many of that just to remove the people that Biden led, and that's not counting the 12, 15 million already here. So I don't think anybody's working on a goal of 3,000. I think I look at the numbers every day, and I think the men and women ICE are doing a great job. I hope we get over 3,000 a day when we bring these additional resources on, additional beds, additional transportation contracts. Because again, and despite what some of you are all saying, most people arrested aren't criminals. Again, crap, wrong. I look at the numbers every morning. The first thing I do is look at the numbers. The numbers I looked at this morning, 70% of everybody ICE arrested is a criminal. For some of y'all say, well, they're not criminal enough. Just a DUI. 10,000 people a year die from DUI. Bottom line is 70% of everybody ICE arrested is a criminal. Who's the other 30% they're arresting? So when you write the stories, why don't we just be honest and tell the whole story? Many of them are national security threats that don't have criminal history, because most national security threats lay low. They don't want to encounter law enforcement while they're here. For instance, over 300 Iranian nationals. Probably not criminals, don't have a criminal history, but they're national security. And they need to be arrested and taken off the streets. Who are the other ones? Many of them are final orders. These are people who had due process at great taxpayer expense, and a federal judge ordered them removed. And our job, under statute, is to remove them. So we find them, we remove them. May not be criminals, but they have the due process. And the reason we're doing that, because if we don't, we send a message to the whole world, it's okay to cross the border illegally.
We'd have to arrest 7,000 people every single day in order to get the people out of this country that Joe Biden let in. That is an insane number. Biden's policies basically were an invitation to break the law. And while illegals laugh at our system then, Americans were left behind, footing the bill and living in that danger. We're living in that danger today. But Homan isn't done. Take a look at what he says next.
There are millions of people standing in line, doing things the right way, taking their tests, doing their background investigation, paying their fees. They're sitting in the back seat. Well, we had 10.5 million illegal aliens come to the border, who a vast majority of them were asylum cheaters. You can call them asylum seekers all you want. I guess that's an accurate term. But look at the immigration court data. 9 out of 10 people who claim asylum at the border end up with an order removal. They cheated the system ahead of thousands of people in the world who really do need our protection. They really do need asylum, protect them from the home government. They're sitting in the back seat. What the Trump administration is doing, we're enforcing laws enacted by Congress. President Trump's keeping his promise. And look at the crime rates already. Every public safety threat ICE takes off the street makes this country safer. Every national security threat we take off the street makes this country safer. Every illegal alien with a final deportation order that we remove sends a strong message to the whole world. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It is a crime. It is not okay to be here illegally. And if you're here illegally, you got a problem. You should be looking over your shoulder. It's not okay to be here illegally. Like it wouldn't be okay for me to be in any other country illegally. We're enforcing the immigration law. That's what the American people put President Trump in the Oval Office for. President Trump's success on the border is unprecedented. We've got the most secure border in history of the nation today. I've worked with 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. No one has come close to the success of the Trump administration on border security. And I looked at the numbers this morning. Again, over 300,000 repatriations since January when President Trump came in office. Do the math. That's historic, especially when 70% of those are public safety threats and national security threats. No one does it better than the man sitting in the White House here, Donald Trump. And I'm proud every day when I wake up. I'm proud to work for this president because he's making this country safe again every day, and you all see the numbers.
Mr. Homan.
Amen. Under President Trump, the border is the most secure it's ever been. Law is being enforced, and we as Americans are becoming safer. Under Biden, it was a total collapse with millions of illegals pouring in, criminals being released left and right, and the safety of your family being tossed aside. That's the choice in front of us. Chaos under the left and law and order under Donald Trump. And we all know which side we're on. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Stay informed, stay vigilant. I'll see you next time.